Hey, all you beautiful people, once again, welcome back to episode 30 of Happy Campers on overcoming anxiety. Here is the quote we're kicking off today's episode with. Worrying is carrying tomorrow's load with today's strength. Carrying 2 days at once. It is moving into tomorrow ahead of time. Worrying doesn't empty tomorrow of its sorrow. It empties today of its strength. Powerful quote. Let me just, anxiety. This is a pretty, there's a lot about it. There's a lot of opinions on it, right? A lot of studies on it. But today we're talking about anxiety. We're talking about anxiousness, right? I'm going to get a little bit into anxiety disorders because I did a little research on it, studied a little bit on it, and I just kind of want to share with anyone out there who may have it for them. But I'm not a medical professional. Let me state that once again. I am not a medical professional. These are just things I found on psychology.com. I watched a little bit of a crash course video, and then a little bit other stuff that'll be linked into all my other social medias. And we'll give everyone credit for it, the stuff that I found. Anyway, anxiety. What is it? Anxiety is your body's natural response to stress. It is a feeling of fear or apprehension about what's to come. Awesome examples of this, prime examples of this is the first day of school, going to a job interview, giving a speech. All of these things, all of these events may cause most people to feel fearful or nervous. Completely natural. Again, feeling anxious, feeling anxiety is completely normal. We talked about it. I can't remember what episode it is. Maybe episode 20. Oh my God, was it really 10 episodes ago? But managing stress, right? Stress and anxiety almost go hand in hand. And we talked about the same thing too. Stress is fine. It's completely normal. It's completely natural. It's not necessarily about the stress. It's not necessarily about the anxiety, the feeling of anxiousness. It's about how we respond to them. Anxiety is part of being human, but for some folks, this can turn into intense fear and paralyzing dread. And again, it isn't always about the fear itself. It is about our response to it. It's not always about the fear itself. It is how we respond to that fear. Only if your feelings of anxiety last longer than 6 months and affect your daily activities, then you may have an anxiety disorder. This disorder may be a feeling of fear that is with you all the time. It is intense and somewhat debilitating. This type of anxiety may cause you to stop doing the things you enjoy. Anxiety disorders are the most common form of emotional disorder and can affect anyone of any age. 1 in 5 of all people will have been able to be diagnosed with the disorder at some point in their life. That's crucial. 1 in 5, 20% of all people had an experience in their life a period in their life where they were probably able to be diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. This is why I started this whole, not anxiety, right? Depression maybe, but this is why I started this whole Happy Campers podcast, was mental health in general. If you were in gym class and Jimmy comes in with a big old boot on his leg and his crutches, would you make fun of Jimmy? Would you make fun of Jimmy because he's not able to run laps with everybody else? He wasn't able to play basketball, whatever it is. Would you make fun of him? If you weren't a complete jackass, I guarantee you probably wouldn't, because you saw, you're like, oh well, he's sick. He's not able to do it right now. He's handicapped right now. He's got a broken leg. He can't do anything. But yet, because we can't see what's inside someone's brain, we don't have that same type of mentality. Carrying forward, it's really easy to make fun of somebody who has a fear of something, not necessarily a phobia, but just has a fear. It just doesn't want to go. It's like, nah, I don't want to go to that, man. I just don't like those types of things. Oh, that guy's just a weirdo, man. He's just weirder. Somebody who panics a lot, or someone who picking their nails all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody who has these serious disease, someone who's always sad, or someone who may be bipolar. You're bipolar. It's like, no, have you really ever met someone who's bipolar, who has these manic to depressive states, these massive swings? I don't think you've ever really met someone who's bipolar. You're just using it as a scapegoat because you want to push a label onto somebody. That's what I love about that's what I like about the fact that I made this podcast, is I'm trying to break the stigma of mental health. And I think, it's been well over 6 months now. We're probably stepping into month 7 of Happy Campers. And I think even in those 7 months, the world in general has really opened up and opened their eyes and started in a deeper conversation and discussion about mental health, and that it is real. Mental health is real. Let me kind of go back on that again, and it'll kind of tie into our response to it. Here's what I've learned over the last few months with mental health, especially for myself, dealing with loneliness that kind of tied into my depression, feelings of sadness, right? I think a lot of mental health is not what is going on with us, right? So in the case of anxiety, it's not the fear, or in case of stress, it's not the load that's on us, the fear load that's on us. It's our response to that fear. It's our response to that load. Or for me, in loneliness and depression, it's not the loneliness or being alone factor. It's how I'm responding to my loneliness and depression. That is honestly where I think the big mystery lies. And that's where we have control over. And that's where we as individuals, if we want to help ourselves, and not just stick pills down us and stick alcohol down our throats and drugs or whatever it is, that's what we can do to help ourselves out today. You can listen to this podcast and do it right now. You can be like, all right, I can help myself out. So let me just keep continuing here. Here are some common anxiety disorders. Some of them you probably heard of. One of the most common is panic disorders. That will affect 1 in 75 people, mainly seen in teens and young adults. These are sudden episodes of intense fear or dread, and they usually come on without any warning. Also, there's phobia. Now, this one I really like, because when I was listening about what a phobia is, we have mislabeled phobias for a lot of times in our life, right? Just because somebody's scared of something, they're just like, I just don't like that, or I don't really want to be around that. I don't like that. That's not a phobia. Even if you don't like spiders, that's not necessarily a phobia. What a phobia is a persisting, irrational fear of something, and it would be characterized and shown through symptoms of, like, if someone was around a spider, they would just lose it. You can imagine this, right? There are people who have is it arachnophobia? Is that the fear of spiders? Yeah, there are people who have arachnophobia, and they are just scared shitless. You know what I'm talking about? It paralyzes them, it cripples them, they're crying or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? People who can't go over bridges, right? They just can't. I literally will physically stop in the middle of the road, like, I cannot drive over this bridge. That, and it's persisting in their entire life. Claustrophobia, right? Fear of small places. My mother, she has major claustrophobia. She can do anywhere. One time we were in Las Vegas. We were trying to head and go over the Grand Canyon. We were gonna take a helicopter, a plane flight over the Grand Canyon, and we had to take one of those, like, little buses there, like one of those short buses. You know what I'm saying? And there were a few people in there, and she one time got stuck in the back on the window. This woman was freaking. Oh, get me out of here! Get me out of here! Get me out of here! I'm sorry to pick on your mom. Still, I'm not trying to make fun of anybody who has real phobias, but that is definitely a real phobia, and I just wanted to, pick on you a little bit because I love you, Mom. And another time too was we were in South Dakota, and we were going through these caves in the Black Hills, and she had the idea to go in these caves in the Black Hill. There's 5 of us. She was in the front, walks into the cave, gets in about 10 feet, and this is a one-way street, folks, that you are not going by, right? Once you go in, everyone else got to get out for you to turn and get out. She gets all 10 feet. Nope. Hey, I'm getting the hell out of here. Nope. I'll be in the gift shop. Everybody turn around. Hey, you turn the hell around. We're going back. I'm gonna be in the gift shop. Y'all can continue. I'm out. She claustrophobia. She is deathly afraid of that. It's always started. She said for her, it always started with, remember, usually phobias and triggers can always be tied back to childhood. And she said she watched some sort of movie or TV show, whatever it was, this horror, scary TV show, and someone was buried alive. And from there, that was what her fear of closed spaces, her claustrophobia started. So yeah, phobias. Social anxiety disorder. This is anxiety related to interacting or being seen by others. It can be literally as simple as receiving a phone call from somebody, meeting new people, or even getting called on in class. The one I wanted to talk about this one a little bit because you know why? I've been doing a little bit of research, right? Everyone knows I don't smoke marijuana much anymore. And I've been doing research in it because one of the classes I have now for this new semester is drugs in society. And I had a whole entire chapter of marijuana, and I did some research in it. And I had to do a current event article, and I found a current event article on the rise of schizophrenia within the fact that there's been an increasing amount of marijuana potency and an increasing amount of marijuana use. And I've heard about it many times, talking to Joe Rogan podcast and everyone else talked about it, and talked about how there's this huge increase in schizophrenia, and maybe marijuana is tied into it. I don't know if it's not. I don't want to, I'm not going to, again, I'm not a scientist, not a professional. I just wanted to, kind of discuss that a little bit, and give my little, niche on it. Or my niche, that is not the right word, Marsh. God, he's an idiot. Get my little say on it, and kind of where, what happened for me. So when I smoke, I remember this, right? I would make plans all day, like, oh yeah, man, I'll hang out with you, bro. I got you. Let's hang out. Let's go party tonight. Let's go meet those girls. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, what time? 9? Sounds good. Bet. See you then, brother. And then 7 o'clock would come, and I'd be like, oh man, you know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shower up after I go outside and smoke a bowl. You know what I'm saying? Smoke a bowl. And I'm gonna be feeling good, taking a shower, getting ready, everything. Boom. I would smoke, go inside, shower up, get all nice, and I'd be like this. I'd start looking around and be like, and I had high tolerance. It wasn't that I was like, like sketching or anything, but I was just like, nah, man. And then he'd be calling me, 8:45, like, yo, man, what's up? You ready to come over in about 15 minutes? Yeah. I'm like, nah, bro. And it wasn't that, munchies were getting me. I was like, super slumped. Again, I had high tolerance. It was just like, I don't want to be around anybody. You know what I'm saying? I always had super bad social anxiety. I always hated in college, like, because that's the time you're trying to meet people, and I smoked so much my freshman year of college, and I can't imagine how many bad impressions I made on people, because I would just be in the corner, just silent, eyes looking around, observing everything, taking it all in, and not wanting to be talked to. I could talk to my friends, everyone else that I knew, but again, meeting new people, or definitely if I went high to class and I got called on in class, oh my God, no, that would be the word. That was my nightmare, to be getting called on in class, or walking into the gym, people being like, hey, how you doing? Good morning, man. Yeah, how you doing? Staring right at them and walking away, or yup, sounds good. Yeah, crazy. That was just mine. I honestly do feel that it has when you're in the state of intoxication on the marijuana, especially for me, I was a little bit socially anxious, and I didn't like how that made me feel. And going back to that, I think that's why a lot of us like the alcohol. It makes us feel the opposite of socially anxious. It makes us feel socially, productive, socially viable, socially outgoing. We're like, yeah, I want to meet everybody in this goddamn room right now. What is up? Where you from? You know what I'm saying? Everything. Here's some more OCD. Again, OCD. If everyone who knows me, I'm a super clean dude. I like things, stacked just right. I like things, everything, all certain, tight and neat and tidy and et cetera. I don't have OCD. My cousin has OCD. She has been hospitalized for many times, taking medicine her entire life. She has OCD. I mean, washing your hands 25 times a day. Obsessively doing stuff, not even being able to have a job, not even being able to go to school because you have to run to the kitchen and organize something 25 times a day, right? Not being able to hold down these normal things in life because you are so obsessed with something. There was something going on, picking your nails, pulling your hair, pulling her eyelashes out. That was something she used to do. Obsessed with individually pulling out her eyes. You know what I'm saying? That is obsessive compulsive disorder. Not someone who has to wash their laundry every day. Not someone who has to make their bed every day. That is not OCD. But again, we want to push labels onto somebody. So if we see somebody who does something like easy as that, making their bed every day, washing their clothes every day, or, always having to do the dishes right away, we like, oh, you have OCD. That's easy just to, do it like that. Not be like, oh, why do you do that? Oh, I just like things clean, like to get it off my mind, like get it on my head, Again, we like to push labels on people. Separation anxiety. Kids, we see a lot of this stuff in kids, or anyone else. I know I don't think she would mind me sharing. She shared it on her podcast. I think Daisy said, I remember we were talking about, I asked Daisy what are the one thing that she struggles with, and she said she struggles with loneliness. She struggles with being alone. She struggles with separation anxiety. She likes to be around people. We all have that, right? We all get that. We all get that at times. Dogs, right? They definitely get it. Damn, they get that stuff. And then PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. And that's when you have a very traumatic experience in your life. This could be people with war. This could be people who were assaulted, et cetera, et cetera. And it paralyzes you and cripples you and weighs on you for the rest of your life. It's a very serious disorder. With anxiety disorders, the underlying cause is usually fear and can often manifest itself in many ways. Again, underlying cause is fear, but it's not necessarily fear itself. It's the manifestation we use that we push that fear into. It's how we respond to that fear, right? There's a lot of dangerous things it can turn into, right? Coping mechanisms, that's usually what it turns into, and it's really bad. Here's some other things that may lead us to continue to turn to coping mechanism. The symptoms of anxiety. This could be also symptoms of an anxiety attack. Increased heart rate, rapid breathing, restlessness, trouble concentrating, irritability, and then just difficulty falling asleep. And especially for the increased heart rate and the rapid breathing, that is probably definitely correlated with an anxiety attack. I've never had an anxiety attack myself before. Again, I don't think I've ever been able to be diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. I'm pretty good at de-stressing myself. But restlessness, irritability, trouble concentrating, difficulty falling asleep. Who hasn't had that? Who hasn't had something going on the day before and all that stress is carrying with them at night? Or who doesn't have a bunch of stuff going on tomorrow morning that they literally cannot take their mind off of? And again, those four, what I was talking about, it's not necessarily the fears of earlier this morning or later tomorrow. It's how we respond to those fears. And those four especially usually lead to coping mechanisms: a bunch of alcohol or a bunch of drugs, stuff that isn't, or food or TV watching, something bad, something not good for our health. Before we continue, let's take a quick break for today's ads. Another quote I have here is, if you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. This section, I'm really happy to get in this section because this is what, this is the solutions. This next section here is the solutions. And this is from plenty of highly credential or credible sources that I found this on. Again, psychology.com, livescience.com, and what's the other one I'm thinking of right now? WebMD, talking about anxiety, and then Crash Course, and I think it's leehealth.com. I found a video and I watched about anxiety on YouTube, and they all say, right, I summed it up, that for those prone to and experience anxiety regularly, medical treatment often isn't necessary. Lifestyle changes may be enough to cope with the symptoms. And Lee Health, the video I watched on YouTube, shout out to him. The first thing is the cognitive side of dealing with anxiety. And this is what I wanted to say right here. Here comes the big one. This is the number one thing when it comes to anxiety. Number one thing when it comes to stress. I talked about it in the episode on managing stress. And Lee says it too. This is the cognitive side of it. This is one of the biggest solutions we all can do today, is you have to sit back and you have to understand what you do and what you don't have control over. That's it. It's seriously that simple. Again, maybe it's not that simple, right? But it's that simple to get started. Just sit there and breathe. If you're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed, you're feeling nervous, you're feeling scared, you say, well, what do I and what don't I have control over? Let's use an example that most people, probably everybody can relate to, right? It's your turn. You have to do a speech in class, right? I have to do a speech in class. What do I and what don't I have control over? I do not have control over doing this speech or not. I have to do this speech. It is required for class. Everyone else is going to do it. I have to do it. What do I have control over? I have control over, to make myself feel better, I can practice more. I can do more research. I can study more. I can make sure when it's my time to go up there, because I have no choice, I have to go up there. What I can control is making sure when it's my time, I am 100% prepared. I am not nervous one bit. I got this. I am going to ace this. I know my topic. I know my subject. Hand, like the back of my hand. Easy money. I'm going to nail this. Whew. Anxiety, as much as you can. Stress as much as you can. Relieved. For me, yeah, guess what happened there, folks? The burps. The burps. God, I'm trying to have a serious conversation here, and I get the burps. God darn it. But again, right? For me, that was horrible. I used to not be good. I used to get really nervous. I used to stutter. I used to fumble. I just fumbled yesterday in class. I got called in. I had to read my thing. And guess what? I wasn't prepared. I was just messing around. So he called me. I was like, and I'm like, God darn it, there's some cute girls in class. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, come on, baby. I know you got it, baby. Come on, baby. But when I'm prepared, which has helped me all through my entire life, which now I consider myself a phenomenal public speaker. I've been told many, many times, right? I consider myself a phenomenal public speaker. It's because I know how to prepare now. I'm not going to go up there and talk about something I don't know what to talk about, right? This is a rock. Rocks are formed by pressing the earth together. There are 3 types of rocks. Sedimentary, the other one, and this is the third one. And, just reading off the board, right? That obviously, who the hell wouldn't be nervous going up there looking like a goddamn idiot? I'd be nervous too. But if I breathe, right? I take the week or whatever it is to study for it. I get it down. I prepare for it. Do it over and over and over again. Practice. I ain't nervous. I'm going to ace it, baby. I'm actually excited to go up there because you know why? All the cute girls in the room going to be like, damn, this man got some confidence. Confidence, baby. Look at him. He's all sexy. He's got the confidence, and he's being himself, and he's Mr. I know everything. Here's my projects. He's with a 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. How do you like that? Right? Boom, bam. Marshall, the man. Damn, I cracked myself up. I am a clown. Yeah. And then here's some other natural lifestyle remedies. Getting enough sleep. Come on, man. Get enough sleep. I think one of my posts pretty recently on my Instagram, again, Marshal Kramer on IG. Follow me. Lots of extra content there. One of the posts on my Instagram was the myths about health, and one was it's okay to get 5 hours of sleep. 1 or 2 nights, sure. But I hear people all the time be like, I could get used to 5 hours of sleep. No problem, homie. No problem. I'm like, okay, Chad. Sounds good. You get used to 5 hours of sleep. You also can get used to getting whacked over the goddamn head with a stick every day. Doesn't mean it's good for you. God, get enough sleep. When we don't get enough sleep, 7 to 10, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, whatever it is for you, get enough sleep. Because when we don't get enough sleep, we're irritable, we can't concentrate, and our cortisol levels, right? That is the stress hormone. Our cortisol levels are actually naturally higher when we don't get enough sleep. So make sure you get enough sleep. Meditating. Oh, you're such a hippie. You're such a young folk. You're such a stoner, psychedelic taker. Yeah, you're such a weirdo. No, meditating doesn't have to be, the typical legs crossed, hands at the okay signs, and just It can be, right? That's very powerful too. It doesn't have to be. It literally can just be shutting everything off, closing your eyes, laying down, right? Lay down in a park, put down something down in the park, shut your eyes, put no music on, and just be present, and just let that voice in the back of your head talk, and then slowly shut them out until you just like sleeping while you're awake, really. Just relaxing, breathing. Staying active and exercising. This is my favorite one. I think Joe Rogan talked about this when he does his Sober October Challenge. One of the number one reasons he loves the Sober October Challenge, for you guys who don't know his Sober October Challenge, is him and a bunch of buddies, they go sober for the entire month of October, and they see who can work out the most for that entire month. And so they go hard. Like Joe is running and doing cardio like 5 hours a day. Like he's like a whole athlete the entire month. And he says the best thing he loves about it is the fact that he has no time for bullshit. And I totally agree where he's coming from. He's saying if you work out, that hard, or you don't even have to go that hard, right? You work out 30 minutes a day, balls to the wall. You work out an hour a day, balls to the wall. Whatever energy you have in order to give to it, whatever time you have in order to get to it, you use the rest of your energy you have each day. You don't have the energy. You don't have the energy to get to deal with anything else like that. You don't have the energy to think about all that stupid stuff. I remember I used to love starting my day off with heavy lifting, right? Because I'd be like, start my day off at 6 o'clock lifting and then go to school at 8, right? And by the time I get to school, kids be saying drama and stuff like that. I'm like, man, do you really think I care? I literally just had a 400-pound bar on my back thinking I was going to break my back and probably crack my neck and die this morning. You think I'm going to give a crap about your little BS that you're talking about, the little drama you're talking about here? That don't faze me. That don't faze me one bit. And again, too, we have talked about it many times too, is that, exercising does relieve the happy endorphins. It releases dopamine, it releases serotonin, it releases testosterone production, and it slows down cortisol. Again, not testosterone. Again, cortisol is a stress responding hormone. It's a stress responding hormone. So again, exercising. And then going back, and another one here too is a healthy diet. Some foods can actually help with this too. So yeah, staying active, exercising, and then a healthy diet, because again, foods can help. Here are some of the foods that I read that can actually help with relieving stress. And that is salmon, chamomile, turmeric, dark chocolate, yogurt, and green tea. These have all been shown to help reduce stress and anxiety. And salmon, I had a lot of salmon back in my freshman year of college. Can't really talk about that. But chamomile, turmeric, dark chocolate, and green tea. I have these guys on the regular. I have green tea and turmeric just about all day. Right? I usually have about 3 cups, maybe 4 cups of green tea, and turmeric's one of the drinks, one of the teas I have too. So I drink tea all day, and it just relieves me so well. Chamomile, drink that every single night to put myself to bed. Don't use melatonin. Don't use marijuana no more. Don't use alcohol. Chamomile, just a relaxer. Again, chamomile puts me to sleep, so I wouldn't be drinking chamomile in the middle of the day. But chamomile is just a relaxer, just a calmer. And then dark chocolate. I've talked about this many times in the episode too. Many times I've talked about this on Happy Campers too, is that I love a little piece of dark chocolate at night. That is my little, my night chocolate. Shout out to Rhett and Link, Buddy System, Season 2, night chocolate. Yeah, look at me. I'm making, I better get on that show someday. I better get on Good Mythical Morning. If you are my fans here, right? You are my listeners at Happy Campers, get me on God darn Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link. I've been watching these guys for 7 years. I love them. Anyway, night chocolate. I love having a little piece of dark chocolate. It is literally, dude, I used to crave smoking my bowl at night and be like, oh my God, I'm gonna smoke my bowl. I'm gonna go to bed. I just can't wait. And now it's just the exact same thing, but just with dark chocolate. I go, oh my God, it's my routine. It's like when that dark chocolate comes, it's nighttime. It's time for me to lay my head down and go nighty-night. And my team Marsh's gonna have a good night's sleep. Love, love, love my dark chocolate. Here's this one, right? You guys may not like this remedy to help you with anxiety or stress because people would say, no, this is completely wrong. This is what I need. Avoiding caffeine, avoiding alcohol, and avoiding drugs. What? What the hell do you mean, Marsh? That is, nope, you're wrong. You don't even know what you're talking about, man. Like you said in the beginning, you're not a medical professional. Well, I just listed 4 sources of, medical professionals and medical sites that do have a say about it and have had years of research on it. And no, you should not. You should definitely not. Yes, it may mask in the short term. Duh. It's probably going to make you feel good in the short term. But guess what? Alcohol has a funny way of making all of our problems seem to disappear when we're on it. But in my opinion, they exemplify it and take it to the 10th degree when we get sober again. Everything just comes right back. But what do people do usually? They drink some more. They smoke some more. They drink some more. They smoke some more. They just mask until 20 years has gone by, and then they go, holy shit, I have been depressed. I have had stress. I have had anxiety for 30 years. Oh my God, I need some real help. Yeah, now you do, because now you also got a goddamn addiction. Many people dealing with anxiety decide to calm down with drugs and alcohol. This may not be the best solution, because some people end up abusing these and possibly develop dependency or addiction. Let's read about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk a little bit about dependency and addiction. There's a difference. Again, going back to my drugs and society class that I have right now in college. Dependency, I'm going to make sure I get this right. Dependency is the physical dependency that somebody has on it, right? It's their ability to not be happy or ability to not function properly without taking their drug of choice. It can even be caffeine, right? Some people got caffeine dependencies. Addiction is the psychological habitual need to do their act, right? Or to be their act. I know, so basically it's saying I can't be happy. I have to smoke weed and be high in order to be happy. That's a dependency versus saying I really like to smoke weed and be high, and I actually really like the act of smoking. It's that psychological habitual act of taking your drug and doing your drug and being on your drug. That is where it comes into addiction. I believe that's a differentiation. I struggle with that one. Differentiation. I struggle with that word so much. I hope you guys are roasting me wherever you're listening to this. I'm like, this guy is stupid. But yeah, that's a little bit of difference there. But yes, again, you use these as coping mechanisms, and we already know, we talked about this many times in life, and we talked about this many times on the show, that these things lead to bad ends. They lead to bad long-term results. Duh. Masking your pain with drugs, alcohol, food, TV, they all lead to bad things. You're just trying to escape your reality. You can do it every now and again, but it can't be a habitual thing, man. Just learn how to figure out your triggers, what gets you mad, what gets you scared, where are your fears, what stresses you out, and just learn how to avoid them and figure out what you can control and not. It's really, really up to you. You don't have to reach for that bottle. You don't have to go smoke that J. You don't. You really, really don't. I think this is the last quote I have is, let me see here. Yep. The last quote I have is, man is not worried about real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. What I get out of this quote is, you're not worried so much about the event that's going to take place as you're worried so much about all of these other random, unlikely possibilities that you are telling yourself, right? So going back to our project example, presentation example. What I'm taking away from this quote, you're not so much worried about actually being up there and doing it, because you know what you're going to do. You're going to go up there, you're going to do it, even if you butchered some words, nothing is going to happen, and then once you're all done, everyone is going to clap, and you're going to go back in your seat, and the teacher's going to give you a grade. That's how it's going to be. But some little voice in your head goes, well, you can go up there, you're going to do this, and then all of a sudden you're going to piss your pants. Oh, wait, guess what you did? You forgot to put your pants on today. Everyone's going to start laughing at you, and then your wiener's going to be out, everyone's going to see your tiny dong, and then the teacher's going to look at you like, ha, get out of here, little weenie. Yeah, it's happened before, but it's all right. I recovered. I recuperated. I'm not a victim. I choose my own life. Yeah. So again, it's all about these imaginations. It's all about these imagined realities and these again, highly unlikely possibilities that we put into our heads that we're actually afraid of. Anxiety and depression, right? I know a lot about this depression thing. These may occur separately, but it is not uncommon for them to occur together. Depression can cause anxiety. Anxiety can cause depression. Absolutely, especially when we talk about the beginning, this overwhelming feeling of fear and this paralyzing dread. If you had nasty anxiety for such a long time, especially going into anxiety disorders, right? It's just persistent in your life. It's always coming back. Obviously, if you're being paralyzed by thinking about all these different things, yeah, I could totally see how that can manifest into a depression, a very depressive state. Absolutely. Again, I don't think I had much anxiety. I guess I definitely could have, but yeah, they're definitely two sides of the same coin. Anxiety in youth. Youth folks have many things to be anxious about. Tests, getting good grades, making friends, moving, new schools, finding jobs, finding a career, or even just their family situations. It's normal to feel stressed and worried about these things. Symptoms. This is kind of for you yourself. If you kind of realizing that you may feel like you're young and you're getting a lot of anxiety. This can be like, okay, I guess I have a lot of anxiety that I didn't really know about. Or this is also to help you if you see it in somebody else. Symptoms for a lot of youths that are dealing with anxiety is nervousness, shyness, isolation, and avoidance. These people may act out. They may do poorly in school. They may skip social events or engage in substance or alcohol use. And depression may occur as well. Again, the reason why I brought this up, that you can help somebody out. Now, I'm not saying I'm a helpless person, but I really wish some of my friends in San Diego, would have seen this with me. Again, if you're listening to this, I love you. It was not any of you guys' fault. I understand. I was excellent at hiding this. I just ran into a buddy. We just hung out a few months ago, about a month ago, I think, and I haven't seen him since I graduated from high school. And he listened to my first podcast. He said, all I'm going to say, man, is you did a goddamn good job of hiding it. I'm like, yeah, I did, baby. Oscar, right? Tom Hanks up at his mug. You know what I'm saying? Brad Pitt up in here. Yeah, I'm a phenomenal actor. So yeah, again, I don't blame you. But if you see this in anybody else, you see the nervousness, the shyness, especially the isolation or avoidance, skipping events or skipping things, skipping class, skipping the gym, or skipping events, right? If they really enjoy that class, they usually do. They really enjoy going to the gym, they usually do. They really enjoy these social events, they really do. If all of a sudden they're skipping them, knock on that door and talk to them. Beat that door down and demand to talk to them. Stress and anxiety are two sides of the same coin. Anxiety can be a reaction to your stress and can also occur in people who have no obvious stressors. So going back to why I said, though reading the symptoms and use, that you may want to use them for yourself, because sometimes you may be a lot more anxious than you actually know. You've been doing it for so long, you just think it's normal, but it's actually not. And if you're developing any of these symptoms, especially headaches, stomach aches, fast heartbeat, sweating, dizziness, jitteriness, rapid breathing, panic, nervousness, difficulty concentrating, irrational anger, restlessness, or even sleeplessness, you should probably check yourself out, look in the mirror and be like, hey man, maybe I'm stressing out a little bit. Maybe I'm a little more anxious than I thought I was. I should maybe, identify some of my triggers, and then from there, understand what I can and what I cannot control, because it starts with me. No obvious stresses. The sweating. The sweating one I want to talk about. That's the one I want to talk about. So, besides when I was in my prime pubescent stage, my puberty stage, right? I used to be like goobered in the sweat, man. I would just be walking down the hallway in negative 35 degree weather. I could be in a tank top, and my tank top by the armpits would be soaked. Had horrible sweating problems. But now, right, I'm out of that. So, it's a huge puberty thing. I'm out of that. It doesn't happen much anymore. But I do notice it happen every now and again when I go to class. And you know what it is? It's because I was in a rush for something, right? I was in a rush to get there. I was late, and it wasn't that the fact that I was just perspiring because I was so hot because I was moving around. So I don't actually rush. If I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna be late. I'm not gonna move any faster. I'm one of those people. If I'm gonna be 5 minutes late, I'm gonna be 5 minutes late. If I could run and get there on time, I'm gonna be 5 minutes late. I ain't gonna speed up for you. So yeah. But sometimes I would see that I would be perspirating a lot underneath my armpits. I'd be like, Jesus Christ, what is going on? It's because subconsciously I would be thinking about nerves, like, God damn, I can't believe I'm gonna be late. I can't believe I'm late. I hope I don't walk in and I look all red and everyone's like, oh man, you late, you dummy boy, something like that. So I know subconsciously it's because I'm nervous. So yeah, sweating can definitely be a good sign of anxiety, anxiousness. Neither is always bad though. Stress and anxiety is talking about. As I stated in managing stress, they both can provide you a little boost or incentive to accomplish your goals. However, if persistent, they can interfere with daily activities. Going back to our speech example. A little anxiety, a little stress does you some good, right? Because you know what you have control over, you don't have control over. You do not have control that you have to do the speech. You do. It's mandatory. You got to do it. You got to get a grade on it. But what you do have control over is, and what that stress and anxiety is going to, propel you to do, is study. Actually be prepared. Practice, 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 right? That's why Kobe Bryant, R.I.P. to Kobe Bryant. I cannot believe I didn't state that yet, yo. I am a huge, huge Kobe fan. I only wore number 24 on the court all of my 8 to 10 years of playing basketball. Kobe for life. His numbers are evident all over my life. Kobe for life. R.I.P. to you, R.I.P. to Gigi, and R.I.P. to anyone else that was on that helicopter in that tragic event. For real. My condolences to the family. My condolences to Vanessa. Anyone else, his parents, his family, his sisters, everybody. The whole Bryant family. R.I.P. Again, but what made Kobe, right, that stress, that anxiety that everyone is going to be watching him. All eyes are going to be on him. That pushed him to practice. That pushed him to excel in his game. You want to be better. So when you're up there and you're presenting from that class, the weeks before, you start to stress about it a little bit because you're going to be like, I don't want to get embarrassed. Good. Go out and practice. Good. Go out and study. Good. Go out and make sure you are prepared. Stress and anxiety, we've talked about them both now. And we know that both of them are part of being a human. Both of them are natural. Both of them are okay. It's okay to feel that way. What we can do for ourselves is step back, identify our triggers, and from there, find what we have control over and what we do not. And if we don't have control over it, we have to let it go. There are also natural remedies we can do. We can breathe, we can get enough sleep, we can meditate, we can exercise, and we can stay healthy, right? Healthy mentally, emotionally, and physically to help us combat our responses and to anxiety and stress in our lives. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode 30 of the Happy Campus Podcast, where we talked about dealing with and overcoming anxiety. Thank you guys so much. I really, really, really appreciate it. And like always, until next time, take care, my friends.